Yeah, I saw just 5 issues. I believe we have a quorum here, so we'll start the meeting. Ask Brother John if he'd give our afternoon prayer, and Jim Fivish if he'd give our pledge.
Father God, we thank you for your goodness and your greatness and marvel at all your creation. You've given us to be stewards of that creation, and I pray that City Council is ever mindful of that as they make their decisions today, that you bless them and use them, and that they provide leadership as far as unity in our community. I pray all these things in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I call this meeting to order, and I ask the clerk to call the roll.
Yes, sir. Mayor Johnson.
Here.
City Attorney Stevenson.
Here.
City Treasurer Martin.
Here.
There you go. Councilor McClendon.
Present.
Councilor Mundy.
Here.
Councilor Holt. Here. Councilor Croom.
Here.
Councilor Hutchison.
Present.
Councilor Robinson.
Present.
Councilor Catt.
Here.
Councilor Pulliam.
Here.
Councilor Taylor.
Here.
And Councilor Harris.
Here.
Got a full house today.
Quorum present, we'll proceed with our meeting. And the first item on the agenda would be the bid openings, and there were none turned in. We'll move on to the minutes. Anybody have any corrections?
Motion approved is submitted.
Second.
All in favor by aye? Aye. Opposed? They are approved. We had no old business brought forward. We move on into the new business. Mr. Pulliam.
Mayor, make a motion to read R1, R2, O1 by title only.
Second.
Motion second to read by title only. All in favor by aye? Aye. Opposed? Read by title only. And Mr. City Attorney, we'll start with you under R1.
A resolution authorizing temporary spending for the West Memphis Police Department for a bonus or hiring incentive for potential uniformed officers and for other purposes.
That concludes the reading of this resolution. Can I have a motion and a second to approve?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes.
All right.
Basically, my response is the same I did in pre-council. I really would like for the fire department to also look at something as well, because we must do everything we can to retain our officers, because it's important and it's cheaper to keep our current firemen or EMT than to have to rehire them. So if they would do something like Chief Oaks is doing right now, it would be great.
Any other comments? We have a motion and a second. All in favor by aye?
Aye.
Opposed? It is carried. Would you give that resolution a number?
Resolution number 2178.
Mr. City Attorney, would you read the title to R2?
A resolution proclaiming the month of October as West Memphis Cancer Awareness Month in the city of West Memphis and for other purposes.
You've heard the resolution read for the first and only time. Do I have a motion and a
So
second?
moved.
Any discussion?
Yes, sir. Also, Mayor, I just want to acknowledge some of the individuals that are here today. I see Mr. Courtney Chad. His organization is Clippers Council Walk that they do every year, and I know that we have been affected by council. Many people that we love have been affected by council. We definitely, as a city, want to acknowledge it in whatever way that we can. Mr. Chad, can you stand? This is Mr. Courtney Chad right there.
Okay.
All right.
Anybody else?
Okay. That concludes your comments?
Well, yeah, and I know personally for me, I lost both of my grandfathers from prostate cancer. And I know many of us that's here have been affected by cancer in a way. So definitely for our city and all the different events from the Susan G. Coleman to the Clippers Council Walk, many other events going on, definitely want to do everything we can to acknowledge that here in our city.
We have a motion and a second on the floor. Any additional discussion?
Yes, I would just like to thank everybody that participated on Saturday with the council walk that we did. And I thank Frank Martin for his donation. And I'd like to thank Life Strategy, everyone who participated in funding it. And I thank God for giving us the walk with no rain. Thank you.
I walked 2 miles. I was there.
I'm on 1 mile.
Good, thank you.
Any other discussion? We have a motion and a second on the floor. All in favor by aye? Aye. Opposed? It is carried unanimously. Would you give that resolution a number?
Resolution number 2179.
Moving on, we have an ordinance to waive competitive bidding on park equipment for Willie Mae Road Park. Would you read it for the first time, Mr. City Attorney?
An ordinance to waive competitive bidding for playground equipment and playground improvements at Willie Mae Road Park and for other purposes.
Could I have a motion to suspend the rules and place it on the second reading?
Second.
All in favor by aye? Aye. Opposed? You read it for the second time?
An ordinance to waive competitive bidding for playground equipment and playground improvements at Willie Mae Road Park and for other purposes.
Could I have a motion to suspend the rules and read it for the third and the final time? I heard a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Read it for the third and the final time.
An ordinance to waive competitive bidding for playground equipment and playground improvements at Willie Mae Road Park and for other purposes.
Mayor, shall this ordinance pass? Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Okay, so now, actually, once we pass it today, I guess they could still go ahead and order it since the money's already in the budget.
Yes.
I mean, okay.
And we just need to clarify, this has been bid out under the state bid, and that's how we're able to do this.
Any other discussion? We have a motion and a second on the floor to pass this ordinance. All in favor by aye? Aye. Opposed? It is passed. Would you give the ordinance a number?
It'll be ordinance number 2485.
That concludes the item of old business on our agenda. We move on into under commission report request.
Mayor, which I don't know, I think, did you want to table this?
We need to table this.
Okay, that's what I'm
Yes.
saying.
I'll make a motion to table this.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to table. All in favor by aye? Aye. Opposed? It is tabled until we'll bring it up at the next meeting. All right, I need commission to sign an agreement with Entergy Services.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion above what we were presented in pre-council? We have a motion and a second. All in favor of allowing me to sign by aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, I'll sign it. We had need the permission for city attorney to sign an agreement with Thrash Law Firm. Going to have a motion and a second.
So move. Second.
That is a motion and a second to approve. Any discussion on this matter? All in favor by aye?
Aye.
That gives me permission to sign. Thank you. That concludes, Mr. City Attorney. Does that include the items on the agenda?
Mayor, let me,
I'm going to report, yes.
I need to make one correction. We just, Councilor Cat pointed out that we used ordinance number 2485 at their last meeting. So the ordinance for the playground would be ordinance number 2486. Sorry for that confusion there.
Nice catch.
Councilor Cat did it.
How does that not surprise me?
He approved the minutes, so he's one catches it.
Yeah.
Thank you, excuse me.
Moving on the committee report to Public Works.
Yes, sir, Public Works met. We received a report that our September recycling was 11,920 pounds with one e-waste. I'd just like to make a note, to date, for recycling, we've recycled more than 60 tons. I just thought the public might be interested in that. The city engineer and staff are currently getting bid packets together for a grappler truck. There were no new worker comp injuries. There was one in Sanitation North Street. Sanitation did have one accident with equipment. The South Loop held their environmental public hearing on September the 25th. It is out for bid, hopefully to have that completed, the bid process completed in 2019 with the build in 2020. The Reading Street Bridge, the concrete beams have been ordered and they're waiting the cure time. The anticipated bridge closure is expected late October, early November. The Hino Bridge is in construction with the completion date anticipated of November 30th. The Lear Street Bridge replacement is at RDOT for review, and the overlay is to start October the 15th. And that concludes my report.
Okay, utility?
Pump station number 1 has begun in the rehab phase. That was approved by the commission. Todd Peterson and had been working with a resource on job descriptions for all the positions at the Utility Commission, and that has been given to the commission members for review. There was a salary survey done for the hourly, and that was given to the commission for review. And then there was a salary proposal presented and approved by the council, the commission, and that was going to the budget committee this Thursday, I'm assuming.
Excuse me. Do you have a copy of that proposal?
I do not.
Okay.
I have one, I believe.
Okay. I'll get with you after the meeting, man.
That concludes your report, Mr. Green.
That concludes the report, Mr. Wayne.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, I'm moving on to the fire.
Yes, sir. The Fire Commission met, did not have a quorum with Chief did present a report. There were no dismissals, suspensions, promotions, or hirings. Unfortunately, we did lose 3 paramedics, 2 firefighters, and 1 driver to other communities. Just an opportunity they couldn't turn down. We hated losing them, and as Mr. McClendon indicated, finding a way to retain our firefighters. HR has been working on an analysis from the communities that are attracting our firefighters, which are mainly out of Tennessee and Mississippi. And that budget meeting we're having next Thursday is to address the packages that they're presenting versus where we currently are, so we can see what adjustments need to be made. Of course, October is Fire Prevention Month. The department will be extremely busy visiting all the private and public schools. Chief Gately, unfortunately, has surrendered his resignation. He will no longer be with the department after January the 1st. He has served our community for 37 years. Led the department, has done an splendid job. Hated losing him, but understand it's time for him to retire and move on. Bill, whoever the next mayor is, you'll have a big task in filling those shoes. The biracial committee did meet. EMS collections as of October the 9th were $174,376.12. Department received a letter from Mrs. Wilson, recently purchased a home, single individual. Called the department. They were gracious enough to come out and install her smoke detectors for her. Again, it's a service we offer to all of our citizens. If you have something you need, please call the department. We're more than happy to serve anybody and everybody we can. That concludes the report.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Okay, like on the biracial committee, when they meet, I mean, who are they filing the minutes with?
Well, the minutes are always attached and given to the Fire Commission and then given to the city clerk's office, because I'll give her this handout.
Do they make any recommendations? Or?
From time to time, a lot of time it's just old business, new business, or nothing. Now, there was a comment in here concerning a issue that the city attorney is handling. I didn't know if it was public comment or not.
I'm just saying, I think you being the chairman of you and
Yes.
the city attorney, y'all probably need to go and take a look at that.
I've seen it. Yeah.
Okay.
He's already working on that.
Okay.
Yes.
Any other comment now? Okay, airport.
Yes, sir, the airport met this morning. Unfortunately, I was not there, but I did get a report from Ms. Suter, and it wasn't an extreme amount. It says that the commission meeting this morning, she reported that that they had received a price quote from the Bass Security for upgrading their new security camera systems. The commission requested that they get another request, a second request, before the final decision is made. That's my report.
That concludes your report. I believe we decided we'd already had the police report. Is that right, Mr. Willis?
We're going to have a call commission meeting, I think, next week. The chief has something he want to bring us next week.
What day and time?
He didn't bring me a day and a time yet. I'll have a call everybody, let her know Monday. It'll be by the middle of the week.
Okay. Any other comments on the reports? Have no appointments? I don't have any announcements.
I have one announcement.
We have, go ahead.
Yes, sir. I'd just like to announce that Keep West Memphis Beautiful is slated for Saturday, October 27th. I've been listening to a lot of the forums. A lot of the candidates are talking about cleaning up West Memphis. Now it's time for you to get out there and let us all see you getting your hands dirty. So come out October 27th Registration is from 8 to 8:30. Cleanup is from 8:30 until 12, or until you get concluded with your assignment.
Okay, thank
Pray that
you.
it doesn't rain.
Any other announcements before we move on into citizens' request?
Quick question. Okay, for us, the insurance committee, I mean, when will they be meeting? I mean,
Bids have been,
The HR director has bids out, so I don't know when we won't meet until
It's
she,
supposed to be open the 26th,
okay.
is opening for the insurance bids, is what I was told.
This month, Mr. Mark.
That'll be next Friday.
okay, how many submitted?
Well, we won't know until the 26th, that's when we get them back, and that.
I think there were 7 packets picked
Okay,
up.
that's what I'm saying. Okay.
So, sometimes they don't resubmit the bid, but.
Also, I got one announcement. Saturday, October the 20th, at 7 p.m., it will be a night of hope, faith, and courage to be honoring the survivors of breast cancer and many other cancers, as well as the Clippers council walk will be that morning, starting at what time?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock that morning, and it start from right across from West Memphis Senior High in that area.
The walk, and then what concludes, what happens that afternoon, is that all with Clippers together?
Yes, also a night of hope with Stephanie Hamlet, the cancer awareness event. That's going to be located at the L.I. Jackson Girls Club. 7 p.m.
Yes.
if I may just remind all the council members, next Thursday, 11 to 2, budget meeting, lunch will be provided. But please, if at all possible, attend.
How's some hot food?
Okay.
Any other announcements? If not, I'll move on to citizens' request. First one we have is Lawrence Carter. Lawrence?
You got Philip Carter. Good evening to everybody. I didn't forget that part. To the Honorable Mayor Bill Johnson, the very distinguished men and women that represent the city. I'm here speaking on behalf of my aunt Shirley Food, my uncle Lawrence Carter. There, Shirley's owner of Transit Link Unlimited, which is a newly formed transportation company that is seeking to enter a contract agreement with the city of West Memphis to provide public transportation for our citizens in the 2019 year. I'm here to just in case you all know, you've been hearing about Transit Link and all of this public transportation. I don't have to explain to you all that public transportation is a dire need for this city. We've definitely been devastated since matter has been gone, and there have been many people who have felt the effect of it. We understand that the ridership was a huge problem, and what they bring to the table this time is to do a little bit more than what matter didn't do. They plan to run on Saturday. They plan to take the West Memphis citizens to and from the circuit court in Maryland. They also plan to address the need that with the new hospital is coming to this town, people are going to need a ride to get there. So we ask that you will, as you enter your budget meeting, please earmark monies for public transportation in your 2019 budget. Please give us opportunity to address this need. Now, I'm not part of the company. I got two good jobs and I'm grateful, but I'm here to speak on behalf of my aunt and uncle. I think they'll do a good job. They are local people. So if there's any issue, you can touch, feel them, call them, talk to them, and you don't have to jump through the hoops to get to anybody. They'll be here to address the need of their own. What I have in front of you is what public transportation is about. What I have is what Transit Link is about, who own it, who operate it, what it's about, and the people you can contact. Also have a copy of the type of transportation that will be provided to the city if this thing go through. So we just want you all to keep that in mind, and please, let's address the need of public transportation. Thank you. What?
It's going to be handicap accessibility.
It's going to be handicap accessible. That's a must. It's a state law, I believe, and we're definitely going to be able to address the needs of the handicap.
About how much money are you talking about funding?
During our budget analysis, we came up with about $282,000 yearly. And at first, your first correspondence was about 225, but as more research was done, there was some unexpected things, some things that they was not aware of that the state required them to have. So you want to put these things in place. You want to be just as lucrative and on the same way that matter was. However, we know that there's not a need for a large bus at this time. But those 2 vans will be sufficient. They will be well maintained, brand new, be able to be handicap accessible, wheelchair, and all these kind of things will meet the needs of the citizens of West Memphis.
Do you have them already, or is something that you're looking to get?
We can get them today if we need them.
And how much are they per van?
Looking at about $45,000 per van. Also, we have tentatively office space. We have 2 that we're really looking at, and just on the blink of an eye, we can have them ready today if we need to.
So you want the city to fund this 282 totally?
That's what we're looking for. Like I said, I'm sure it's well financially able to get the vans and all these things put in place. But to continue this, it's definitely gonna need city help. And not only that, it is a for-profit organization, so the next year, of course, we'll be seeking to partner with you all to do the grant through community development, what have you. Since the city is a nonprofit organization and TransLink is a for-profit organization, so for-profit don't get grants.
So how much will you be charging the citizens, or will it be a total a free service to our citizens?
Contingent on the contract with the city, it'll be a free service. And again, just want to reiterate, we will be taking the citizens of West Memphis only to the Marion Circuit Court, to and from.
Will you be going to Memphis as well, to and from?
They have been discussing and going on there because there was some things that NADA was doing and some other organizations were doing some things with transporting to Memphis. So those things are in the workings as well. Like I said, I've been in many meetings with them. I don't know all the details, as I'm sure of them know, but I've been in some meetings with them, and I'm just trying to help them get it going.
Right.
Any other questions?
Thank you, Phil.
You're welcome. Good to see you. Mayor Johnson, thank you for the 20 years of service you've given us. We appreciate it.
All right, we move on. The next one that's on there is Devin Griggs. See here. Devin, we normally allow 3 to 5 minutes.
I'll be real brief. My name's Devin Griggs. I've met several of you so far, and you've probably heard some of what I'm about to say, but there's several of you I haven't got to sit down with and introduce myself. So I came today wanting to introduce myself. I'm running for county treasurer here. I grew up right here in West Memphis. I've made several city councils across the county and introduced myself there, but this one means a little bit more. This is where I was raised. So I grew up, playing ball over at Tilden Rogers and Friendship Field and West Memphis Boys Club. So this is home to me. But I thank you guys for just a little bit of time, real quick. I just want to share my experience, my background. So for 12 years, I've worked for county government. I work for a contractor that contracts with different counties across the state. We have 13 contracts in the state of Arkansas, and we provide those counties with their real estate values. So what that does is that puts me in several courthouses across the state, 5 or 6 each month on average. But that also puts me in several county offices inside of each county. We do corrections for the collector's office. We do the values we turn over to the assessor's office. We pull deeds from the clerk's office. And a couple of weeks ago, I was sitting in the treasurer's office of Lawrence County, helping them project their revenues, because I manage the valuation in Lawrence County. So therefore, when we put on property values, the millage rate is what funds the county general fund there. We had around a 6% increase in value, so therefore they had an increase in revenues, and they were trying to figure out how to give some deputies some raises. So I was able to sit down with the treasurer there upon their request, pull the abstract from the assessor's office, and help them determine if they could give raises to their county employees. So I have hands-on experience with that office. My degree is in finance. When I was working for that contractor full-time, I went to school at night at the University of Memphis. I graduated from there with a degree in finance. I've used that degree to help out my local church. I've sat on the board for 7 years with a 1-year rotation. We retire a 1-year rotation after 3 years. And I've been there monitoring the budget there. We meet every month to go over income and expense reports. The last 2 years, I've been the treasurer there. I've been the one to put together the reports, present them to the board monthly and then annually to the church. So I have a lot of experience for the position. I believe my combination of my education in finance, my experience in finance, and then of course the experience on the county level is really a great combination for that position. So like I said, just want to come here and introduce myself and ask you for your consideration come Monday during early voting. But if y'all have any questions, I'd love to answer them. Thank you for your time.
Moving on, we have Mr. Mosby. Mosby or Mosley? Tyrone Mosby?
He's not here.
I don't believe he's here today. Anything else to come before the council?
Make a motion with adjourn.
Second.
All in favor by aye? Aye. Opposed? Philip, we got you out of here.